How's it going, everybody? Mike Solomon here, and decided that even though I haven't done any wrestling pay-per-view reviews in a while, it's the end of the year. It's New Year's Eve in 2017, if you're watching this video today. If not, look at your calendar. I don't know what to tell you. But, for me, it's New Year's Eve, and that means it's time to get together with friends and party and play some games and get drunk. So, before I do that, why not enjoy the best and worst things from WWE this entire year. Now, this video particularly is going to be for the top 10 worst, as chosen by me, and only me. The top 10 worst things to happen in 2017. And here in a few hours after this video goes up, I'll be posting a best of with a different intro that probably won't be as funny. Sorry, what can you do? Anyway, I don't have any flashy cutaways or anything like that. I'm not that type of guy. Let's get right into it with my number 10. Now, number 10 for my top 10 list of just terrible, no good, very bad things to happen in WWE this year is the loss of Neville. Neville was probably the brightest star by far in the Cruiserweight division, even though the Cruiserweight division itself does not get much love. He was, for some reason, towards the end of his run with the WWE, told to lose the title to Enzo Amore, of all people. Now, don't get me wrong, Enzo is fantastic on the mic, but he's not that great of an in-ring competitor, and had no right to take the title from the king of the cruiserweights. Now, there's still a chance he might return next year, and hopefully he does, because I would love to see him in the ring. If he can go somewhere else, that's even better for him, and I would love to see him actually get the star power he deserves. Hell, he shouldn't be fighting just cruiserweights, and I'll leave it at that. But hopefully 2018 is a better year for Neville, and it's a big loss for WWE in my personal opinion. Number 9, Roman Reigns entering the Royal Rumble at number 30. WWE, listen, I have no problem with Roman Reigns. I actually do indeed like him. He's gotten amazing in the ring lately. He's at least very, very good. Amazing is a little harsh, little extreme of a word, rather. But he's gotten very, very convincing in the ring, and if given the right material, he can cut a decent promo. Case in point, the most heel promo of all time, where he walks into the ring after retiring The Undertaker. We can discuss that another day. Walking in and just saying, "This is my yard now." Oh, is that the biggest heel promo I've ever heard in my life? So, as long as if he's not having to go against John Cena in promos, he's pretty okay. In the ring, he's good. But the Royal Rumble, putting him in at number 30 after he had already had a match and lost that evening, 1, just didn't make sense. And 2, you missed out on the best opportunity to introduce Samoa Joe. This was your perfect time to bring Joe into the thing. The fans wanted it. And you had him debut the next night on Raw. And don't get me wrong, like that's what you do. That's part of your shtick, WWE, is you like to have the night after Rumble or the night after WrestleMania, the big return or reveal or upbringing of some big name. Like, you always do this. It's to get, keep the fans interested, and I get it. But everyone wanted him in the Rumble, and that would have been the perfect time. I feel you dropped the ball, WWE, but what do I know? I'm a useless mark. Anyway, number 8. The entire Bayley and Alexa Bliss feud. Now, I'm not going to go into all of it, every single week in, week out match. There's no point. However, the 2 big issues I had with it, case in point, number 1, you had Bayley afraid to use the kendo stick. That really, really diminishes who she is as a character. Now, I understand your thought going into it. Oh, well, she's just like you or me or any, homegrown fan, and she doesn't want to be that bad of a person, that violent of a person. She just doesn't have that in her. Yeah, but she is a WWE competitor, right? And there's no rule against using the kendo stick when it's a kendo stick on the pole match, correct? Well then, she'd most likely use it. I think she'd get over that. And the fans wanted her to get over that. We want to see Bayley do what we would do. Prove that we've got that streak in us. Prove that we got the fight in us. I mean, you had to prove it week in and week out on NXT in different ways. Granted, they weren't violent means. But you had her do it. So, I just feel like that was a terrible booking choice. But worse than that, was the god-awful, uncomfortable "This Is Your Life" segment. I'm not going to go into details of it. It was just bad. Like, crowd and attendance. Just, everybody. Nobody enjoyed that. Nobody. It was just uncomfortable for everyone involved. You couldn't compare to the classic one with Mankind and The Rock. Mick Foley, whatever, I believe Mankind. I'm in the 90s, man. I was a kid. Come on. But anyway, it was The Rock and Sock Connection. I was right. Anyway, besides the point, you can't compare to that. And this wasn't even close to comparing to that. But, God, why did you even try? Alright, number 7. Sister Abigail and the Pumpkin King Balor. Or really anything Bray Wyatt this year. If you can't tell by my fashion choice and beard, I actually am a huge Bray Wyatt fan. This year has not been a good year for Bray Wyatt, and maybe it's the writing, maybe it's him, maybe it's both, I don't know. But, God, it's just looking worse and worse every month for him, I feel. So, you have this build-up that was interesting to say the least between Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt. And it's a lot of the head games. It's a lot of Bray Wyatt just at this point kind of just saying nothing. He just has a good vocabulary, and it sometimes gets a reaction. Not really so much anymore. People have gotten used to it. But he just says something that's supposed to sound menacing, and, then does like the creepy laugh, and then a cutaway with the camera or the lights or something. But you had this little build-up between him and trying to get Finn to be more, just something more. Like, he had more than just this demon. He had to have more. And that Bray also had more to one-up the demon itself, which was just face paint and such. I don't even have a problem with the way they were going to go with it. That's actually the first thing most fans bash, is they wanted to bash the fact that it was going to be Bray Wyatt, possibly, very possibly, in drag. It's the way they were kind of approaching it, that he would have some sort of weird... If done right, and not so much like dressing him outright as a girl, but maybe like kind of the weird face paint type angle, also with just some like, maybe a shaw or something, I think that's the word I'm looking for, like over his face. There was ways to make it genuinely creepy and weird, and I think it would have went really well. However, we didn't even have to worry about seeing that, or the counterpart of Pumpkin King Finn Balor. My God, thank God for that. I never thought I'd say thank God for the mumps, but thank God for the mumps. I'm actually going to cover that in a different video. Stay tuned for that. But, yeah, and then anything else, Bray Wyatt, the WrestleMania match with Randy Orton, even though, him getting the title back in Elimination Chamber was nice. The follow-up, although interesting at first, the House of Horrors match was just badly shot. They were trying to cash in on the kind of thing that was making Matt Hardy popular at the time. That whole shtick, the projector projecting bugs on the ring, don't think it had the effect that they thought it would. And then just really anything going on, like even right now, pretty worried that he's just going to get squashed because they have him going against woken Matt Hardy. Not broken, woken Matt Hardy. And it's not looking good. Not looking like the next start of next year is going to be very good for Bray Wyatt either, but I have faith. Alright, next we've got number 6, the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, specifically the result. The fact that they got a Money in the Bank ladder match is huge, and even bigger, it didn't make any of my lists this year, but the announcement of the Women's Battle Royal, Women's Royal Rumble, rather, the announcement of that is phenomenal. It's groundbreaking for the industry as a whole, for WWE as a whole, and it's looking good for the women. I'm glad that they're no longer just the divas like they used to be. We finally breaking that stigma of like the women just being eye candy. They have a lot of potential and a lot of talent, and I'm glad it's being, shown in such a light. But when you have James Ellsworth pull down the briefcase, that's not a girl's name, by the way. James Ellsworth clearly is not a girl's name. If you're not a WWE fan, look up James Ellsworth, by the way, because it's worth the look up. He's a weird-looking individual. I kind of liked him at first when he joined. I liked the whole gimmick that they were doing with him. But, anybody with 2 hands can fight in the WWE. Anything can happen. But anyway, I digress. That was just a terrible, terrible mistake. WWE clearly realized they goofed on this one because they did, like, the rematch the following night. So, we'd have a clear winner. even though the result went the same way. The briefcase went where it was going. But God, the choice of having Ellsworth. Ooh. Bad choice, WWE. Bad choice. All right. Number 5 for my worst of the year for WWE is the Survivor Series team match. It's kind of the whole thing as a whole, although, like, going into it, I liked the storylines. But the star power you had... I don't like that since it's happened, we're supposed to believe that somehow Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were the reason that SmackDown lost. They clearly weren't. I don't like that Triple H won. I don't like that all the good new talent that you had, like Shinsuke getting taken out, Finn Balor getting taken out, Samoa Joe getting taken out, anybody that, like, wasn't Braun Strowman, because they aren't going to hurt Braun Strowman, anybody that was new but wasn't him, like, they didn't even get to perform. It was unfair. And then you have rumors swirling now about Finn not being over, stemming from that match, from what a lot of people are saying. It's not fair. It's not fair at all. A lot of things went wrong with that match, and nothing really built from it. Where do you go from here? After having Triple H, pedigree Kurt Angle, making you think, like, Triple H defected is with Shane, and then having him, take out Shane as well, so that he gets the win. First of all, come on, Triple H, you don't need to pad your career anymore. You're good. You're good. You're solid forever, and you know that. But, like, to have him do that, they make it look like maybe him and Braun are going to go at it at some point. But you almost have to have Kurt Angle and Triple H go at each other at WrestleMania, don't you? Because, like, that's going to be your big short-term, seller type of match where you're going to make money off the fans. So when is the Braun payoff coming? Is it going to come at the Rumble? Because I doubt it, because you won't book Triple H until right around WrestleMania, like right at WrestleMania. So I feel like there's just going to be no real payoff, and it's just going to feel just wasted. And it was a decent match, like, overall. Just in the end, like, a lot of things, like, left more questions than answered, and you didn't need some of the, like, Kurt Angle, Triple H, John Cena, like, Randy Orton, Shane McMahon, like, you didn't need all of that for this type of match. You didn't, really. You have a lot of other talent you could have used. Alright, next up, number 4, flows right into it. Too much authority. And this is what I mean. I mean that we've had so much, specifically Shane McMahon. Like, he's tied into, like, 5 different pay-per-views in one way or another, I swear. Whether he was in the ring himself personally or part of the result, like, as a special guest referee or what have you. He's been part of a lot of things on SmackDown, storyline-wise. And although Raw hasn't been as bad, you've got Kurt Angle being Jason Jordan's dad, which I will be getting to later. It's on the list, I promise you. You have that angle. You've also had just kind of Stephanie McMahon, like, belittling anybody that she gets a chance to do, which is supposed to be her heel gimmick. But I feel like we see too much of them being part of the main storyline. SmackDown's the bigger culprit of this, but it just kind of needs to stop. And I hope going into 2018 we can get away from that. It's just not been good. Not been good TV to me. Alright, number 3, the entire booking of Finn Balor of late. And by that I mean more so the burial. Finn Balor was rumored to be the person they wanted to face Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble in 2018. And I think that would have been a hell of a match. I mean, you saw, if you're a fan, you saw Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles very recently. And Brock, I feel you have to interest him to get a good match out of him. I mean, he's a good performer. He's wrestled in Japan. He knows how to wrestle, and I'm beyond my early days where I used to just bust him for, go back to UFC. I'm not that guy anymore. Like, Brock is a good performer, even if they only use him for big matches, for title defenses at pay-per-views. He's still good. But you have to interest him to get a good match. AJ Styles got a hell of a match out of Brock Lesnar. I don't feel the Goldberg match was that bad at WrestleMania. It's kind of what we wanted. We wanted these two guys to just beat each other, like, mercilessly, and they kind of did. So it was a good match. I think Finn Balor would get a great match out of him, especially because I can't be the only one that knows where everything's going. Roman's eventually getting the title off of Brock Lesnar, and the big thing is going to be that he kicked out of the F5, because no one's been doing it lately. No one's kicked out of an F5, so, like, that's the angle they're going to push almost certainly. and Roman will take the belt at WrestleMania because he's going to be our new John Cena. And I can get by with that. I've made my peace with it, if you will. But for some reason, WWE now thinks that Finn Balor isn't over. I don't know why this is. If you look at the crowd reaction every time he comes to the ring, they're eating that up. So I don't know what it is. For some reason, they now have him in a feud with the what was the Miztourage, going against, you know, it seems like a bad move. Like, he got squashed by Kane. Why did you have him get squashed by Kane? I understand who Kane is, but it's 2017 and Kane's not the same guy. He's soon to be a mayor, though, which good for him. But he's not the same guy he was back whenever he's ripping cell doors off to get to his brother. Like, it's past his time. It's Finn Balor's time. And at this point, I almost want to tell Finn Balor to make like Neville and just leave. Just go to New Japan. You know, go to a different promotion and become better. Be better, earn what you deserve, because you are a phenomenal talent, and for some reason they're not giving you that credit. Again, like I said, WWE just making a bad decision here, in my opinion. Number 2, the whole Jason Jordan shtick right now. Listen, I think they picked the wrong person in American Alpha to make Kurt Angle's son. Chad Gable would have been the better choice. But they went with Jason Jordan, and the crowd don't like it. They clearly don't like it. I'm glad that they've kind of since made him more of a heel with it. They haven't made him go as far as I want them to, but he does seem like he's whining to his dad to get what he wants. But I feel that wasn't the initial plan. It just kind of became the plan because the crowd didn't buy it like they thought they would. Jason Jordan's a good in-ring competitor. He's gotten great matches out of Roman Reigns and such. The angle's bad. The angle is wrong. Get it? The angle? It was just a bad choice, bad direction for them. It's tough to get him out of this hole right now. It's doable. Anything's forgettable with enough time when it comes to the WWE Universe and the fans. We're very forgiving people after a certain period of time. But right now, it's not looking like we're going to get it. And it's just not. It's not looking good for Jason Jordan, in my opinion. I don't see him getting much leverage from this angle right now. And my number 1, and you knew it was coming, my number 1 worst decision for the WWE this year was the gender experiment. Now listen, I didn't even bash it when it first happened. Hashtag don't hinder the gender. All for that. Because it was fresh, it was different, it was surprising. I didn't expect it to last more than like a month, but it was crazy. Like, no one saw it coming. Like, nobody believed that Jinder Mahal, you know, the worst member of 3-Man Band, was going to become WWE Champion at some point. No one saw that coming. Now, the rumor of to why it happened is because of them trying to corner the Indian market. That clearly did not happen, and it didn't work out for them. They didn't even have Jinder hold the title like to finish the India tour, I believe. So in the long run, it backfired. However, why did they do it in the first place? Like, is it just because Vince McMahon has a thing for big muscular dudes? Like, that's his, like, selling point, is like when someone's ripped and jacked, they're the next big thing. Because I feel you were better to give it to someone like AJ or Shinsuke. Sometime soon, please give it to Shinsuke. Give it to somebody that, like, in-ring can put on beautiful matches. Now, AJ's the total package. He can talk, he can work the ring, you know, he knows how to sell. He's all of that. Shinsuke, I feel, sells pretty good, and he's good in the ring. You might not want to have him on the microphone too much, but you could get a promo out of him if it's pre-recorded, I think. I think you can get something good out of him. Jinder just did the same match every week, won the same way every week, and it just wasn't good. But anyway, that's my video. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back very soon with the next video. It'll be the best of WWE 2017. I'm Mike Solomon. See you later.